We read many things in the scriptures about a longing or a thirsting for God. And the psalmist actually gives us a formula for seeking after him and for receiving a blessing for it. Good morning. This is Pastor Ernie Lewis of the Blue Point Church in Sisney, Illinois, with your thoughts for Thursday. We know how often the psalmist wrote those songs of praise and about seeking God's favor. He's also famous for giving thanks and praise to the God of the universe. I hope that's a major part of our prayer life, thanksgiving and praise. All too often, it seems like our prayers become a wish list and we make it all about me and not about God at all. So the psalmist writes in Psalm 107 and verse 8, "Oh, that men would give thanks to the Lord for his goodness and for his wonderful works to the children of men. For he satisfies the longing soul, and he fills the hungry soul with goodness." When he says here, "Oh, that men would give thanks to the Lord," I almost feel like he's looking right down into our souls and finding there's no thanksgiving there to God. Oh, I know we may bow before a meal and we'll say grace and thank him for his provision. Or we may even pray over that Big Mac and beg, "Lord, if there's any way, please make this pile of grease a nourishment for my body." But what about truly being thankful? I know what you're thinking inside. This is only September. It's not until November that we're supposed to be reminded to be thankful. Have you ever gone out of your way to do something special for someone else, only to have them go on and not even mention a thank you or even acknowledge what you've done? So how does God feel when he gives us such blessings on a daily basis with no thank you? Here he begins by saying, "Give thanks to the Lord for his goodness." Now this is not even waiting for a specific answer to prayer, nor is it a tangible act of God. We should be thankful for God's goodness, which is showered upon us on a daily basis. Then he goes on to mention his wonderful works to the children of men. Now we mention those specific things, the things he's done in our life for which we should be thankful. And David reminds us that he satisfies the longing soul. You know, we sometimes are longing or thirsting for something in this physical realm, and we know what it's like when that is provided. So what would it be like to actually long for God, to do something spiritually in our lives, or long for him to move in a definite way, to direct our lives into his will and into his work? Rather than wanting things in this world, God wants us to long for him and his movement, his work. And he goes on to say, "And he fills the hungry soul with goodness." Now, as Americans, we seldom know what it really means to be hungry or to hunger for something specific. But what would happen if today we began to hunger for a closer walk with God? Or if we were to hunger for God's moving and direction in our life today and even for the future? He says he would not only fill that hungry soul, he would pour out his goodness. You know, that's like an extra measure of what we truly needed anyway. We often miss the goodness of God in our lives. Maybe it's because we are not longing for his presence in our very souls, where we would be satisfied and filled.